Greetings everyone, my name is Napoleon Complex and welcome to the Byzantine side of my themed event match against Harvey LH in the Digital League tournament. Now I'm feeling a lot more confident about this one than I am feeling about the Avars side, although bear in mind that if it is indeed a mismatch, as I suspect it will be, then I will need to play extra well on this side to make up for what I suspect may be a defeat on the other side. So let's begin with analysing the armies. The Byzantine list is, in my opinion, far more balanced than the Avar list. The Byzantines do have access to these excellent veteran Byzantine lancers. Now these are really only armoured noble lancers with bow capability, and seeing as they are most likely to fight their armoured counterparts, I'm less inclined to go for these, as I don't think the extra bow capacity is particularly good value for money. Unless you can situate them on a hill or something and then just shoot down at the opponent. But I suspect these units will be called upon to close to impact sooner. However, the extra bow capability may allow them to get a disruption against if supported by horse archers, so they are probably worth placing at the end of a line, say with 2 horse archer units supporting them. We have access to the expert armored horse archers. Now these are interesting because while they are equipped with 100% bow capability, thus very good at, and also their superior status makes them good at causing casualties with bow fire, they may be very good at causing disruptions. I feel that isn't their main capability. These are predominantly good quality swordsmen who also have the ability to shoot, and what you want to do is try and get a disruption with their bow fire, perhaps with the support of less heavy horse archers, and then charge them into melee against disrupted opponents. They are rather expensive for that bow capability, costing the same as lancers, and they are very poor at dealing with lancers, as due to their lack of light spear capability, they cannot stand up to shocks well. And so they really do need to get that disruption to have their full effect, or they need to be able to withstand the initial impact to get to work with their swords. As a result, I would recommend deploying these against other medium cavalry, say for instance my opponent's own expert armoured horse archers or the nomad horse archers, who they will slaughter, rather than deploying them against lancers, because if they fail to disrupt the lancers, then the lancers will probably ruin their day. But they can be very effective if they withstand impact. We have Roman Lancers and Byzantine Lancers, and in my opinion these two units are the best and most cost-effective units in the Byzantine army. And as you can see, I've already maxed out in the Byzantine Lancers. The fact that the Byzantine Lancers are only above average does mean that they are at a slight disadvantage in melee with the equivalent to the Roman Lancers in the Avar line, the armoured noble Lancers. However, I feel that this is more than offset by their low cost and the fact that they are bow capable. They are only above average, they're only a step below the superior armoured horse archers. They're still armoured lancers even. They're still they're still well armoured, so they can resist missile fire, and these I think will form the core of any Byzantine army. As if this wasn't enough of an advantage, we have light javelin horse, which in my opinion are far more cost effective than the exorbitant cost of the nomad light horse archers, who at 40, despite their swordsman capability, are really a little bit too expensive to be worth their price in my opinion. The Byzantine flankers are, I think, overpriced. Even though they have above average capability, they are armoured and they are bow and swordsmen. That is overkill against just about any type of light troop you will encounter, and the fact that they only have 120 men in the unit means that they are still going to be outclassed by any medium or heavy unit they encounter, and they don't have lancer ability, so their shock impact is going to be limited too. So I would steer clear of the Byzantine flankers. However, where the Byzantine list starts to shine again over the Avars is their infantry. Now, the Byzantines do have some irregular foot to complement the Avars' irregular foot. However, they would be far better suited bringing raw Scoutatoi, who are only 24 points and with defensive spear capability should be more than capable of standing up to the irregular foot, as well as blocking the Avar Lancers. But they can also bring these re-equipped scutatoi, who will be able to move through the rough ground, and I'm planning on using them to, say, break these positions here where the irregular foot may be hiding. On top of that, we have a full line of scutatoi, who are more than capable of locking down the enemy lancers and horse archers, while our cavalry go around the back. Now, for this reason, I suspect Harvey will be taking a very defensive approach in this battle. He will probably take shelter in the rough ground towards the back. In contrast to my very aggressive start, I am essentially taking a gamble of trying to seize the key ground in this part of the battlefield in my Avar game, and then trying to swing around the back in a surprise flanking maneuver, which I'm not sure will work. But I suspect that he will probably hole up in the difficult terrain here and try to behave defensively, and I will have to flush him out. On the other hand, I do still have to be prepared for an attack up here. So I may want to organise my army in such a way that I can quickly send skirmishers and then horsemen up onto this ridge to make sure that I secure this area and ensure that he can't pour out into the plain behind me. So I will be back once I have set up my army. Oh, and I forgot to mention that we get Byzantine massed archers, and these will be very useful for rooting out entrenched troops, though they will have to be protected from lancer charge. I've set up my army to accomplish specific objectives on the battlefield. The initial struggle, I believe, will be for control of this hill here, and then for this defensive line here. To accomplish this, I am ready to send a strong force of cavalry up the hill, which can be followed up by the infantry to take the heights here. My skirmishers will spearhead this operation, aiming to take this line of rough ground and woods here. Once we've cleared that out, my army will advance here. My medium infantry, with the support of the raw scutatoi and the irregular foot coming up to support the raw scutatoi, will clear out this defensive line here. And then, assuming the defensive line is not here but here instead, we will swing to the right, send the cavalry off to the other side of the battlefield, and then launch an assault on this line here. The skirmishers will be repositioned throughout the battle in order to provide scouting assistance. If, on the other hand, the Avars come out in a full assault, then we will endeavour to try and take key positions on the rough ground here, or alternatively we may fall back to this position here in order to form a defence. So let's begin. Eerily quiet. There's nothing. What are we up against? So it's a smaller enemy army. And I suspect that he's taken mainly lancers and cavalry then. I'm going to send out scouts to try and find out what's going on. We'll take our initial positions, but the rest of the army's not moving. Keep the skirmishers close together. I suspect we're in for a shock. And I'll get my cavalry ready to transfer flank. Or move off, as the situation demands. No, leave them in position for now. They may need to make a quick sprint for the hill. And seeing as that would not be entirely out of the question if I had to belay that order, I may as well move off. But cautiously. So they're not in this enclave. Their force must be hidden somewhere around here. There's no point in hanging around. The strategic ground is here. Let's advance while we're unopposed. But I will hang back a little bit here, at least until we know what we're capable of. I suspect then that the ambush is around here. Unless he's deployed right back here. That's probably spread all over the map. This area here is a good candidate, but then again, those must be only light troops because his deployments are... Where is he? I know Harvey's a good ambusher, so I need to be extremely careful here. For now, next turn. Okay. The reconnaissance continues. A little worried about their positioning here. See anything else? Oh, this is eerie. Where in blazes is he? Right. Continue to move up. I'd be lying if I said I was comfortable about this. We're not too far forward that we can't back up yet, but I am getting more committed at this point. Keep our forces concentrated on this side of the mountain. Of course, we won't see anything. So we've got 2 units there and a unit there. Probably something in the marsh. I need to scout out these woodlands thoroughly to know what's out there. You guys just fall back. Pity it's too late for them. Next turn. Okay, more hide and seek. Let's see. Okay, found some of them. What else is out there? Nothing there. It could be deeper in. I don't think I just revealed those archers again. This is potentially hazardous. Turn up this way. Oh. There's no point really in throwing javelins in these kinds of conditions. The best of luck I'll be able to take care of these. Trouble is I don't know what else is out there. We've already explored that tile. The reason I'm hesitating so much is because I think there might be medium cavalry in that forest. There's nothing in that forest, is there? Not that we'd know. Look how close I have to get to discover it. Well, we've already discovered something. Let's move out and try to lock it down. Well, maybe not at that exact angle. And that should at least give us scrambling distance if anything does come charging out at us. If you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. I wish it was bears. I'd probably feel safer tackling a bear in these conditions. Yes, even grizzlies. Next turn. Oh, hello. Okay, well they're scattering to the far corners, which is a good thing for me, because that means that I haven't stumbled into some horrible ambush. I'm not going to let them just drift away. Of course, I may not have much choice. I'm not going to be able to catch them. Right, keep going this way, we might be able to trap them against the side of the map. Or maybe something else will emerge. Of course, this lot being behind my line is not welcome. I'm not comfortable swinging around here until I've scouted this entire part of the map. I know nothing's here. Keep moving, lads. We've got time to swing around. Of course, the danger is while I'm out scout. There's two dangers. One, there's a massive force here and I get ambushed. And two, while this force is making its way around the mountain on its planned path, then a giant ambush force advances here and shatters my weaker flank. So I think for the moment we'll pull in away from that forest. So this is where, if he's hiding everything here, then this is where the battle will end, but I need to make sure that this region is cleared out first. And I'm advancing my cavalry 2 tiles at a time, because I do not want to stumble into the aforementioned horrible, nasty ambush. I do want to keep close enough to support my skirmishers though. That was a waste. Next turn. It's not ideal that these guys are around our back. I'm gonna give them a volley just to weaken them as they go. I won't be able to catch them, they can escape through the tracks now. And it's risky to move up my heavy forces, because I noticed on this side of the battlefield this is a potential ambush site. The focus still has to be on reconnaissance. But I suspect his army is really over here. So I'll begin to shift around with the expectation that we're going into the forest over here. Probably not the best position for them. We've got time to rearrange this. And let's see. I don't want to use... Thing is, if he's holed up in this grotto, why would he be there? What we need is cavalry to surround this area. And just keep these units in check for now. No, I already saw them off. Okay. So I'll leave them for now. The line starts at the time, but we'll know what is, well, mostly in place. But I think we'll know soon whether there is anything in that forest, and then I can turn on the woodland here. Next turn. Yeah, I know they're loose. Those guys will cause a problem. So he's got to be in this copse. If he's not in this area here, then he's got to be in this forest. And if he wants to come out and fight my skirmishers, he's more than welcome. I'll take any rout percentage just now. It's interesting that he's forming up for battle. Okay. I think I've found a nest of skirmishers. There's something else in this woods, otherwise why would he turn around? Aha. Hello. I think he's coming out to fight. Wish I'd had at least some scout cavalry over here, but I wanted it to make sure I took the ridge. Right, I need to know what's hiding here. What has been revealed? Hello! That's something revealed. Because I know that nothing. Well, oh. Something did actually just occur to me. Did my light javelin horse go past this village? Even if there is something there, it should be something I can respond to. Ugh, more delays. Problem is, if this keeps going, we're going to end up in a draw. And given how my other game is going, a draw is likely to mean me getting knocked out of the tournament. I do actually have to win here. So I'll shadow his movements over here. Again, we have to clear out this side of the map and then attack the other side. Travel on a defensive diamond to protect my archers. And this line can turn and face any threats that emerge. Although I want to stop before the swamp and turn to face. Obviously this is not good ground for lancers to fight on. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have some irregular... It's not the other lancers, because obviously cavalry are disordered by the forests as well. It's the... And of course then my infantry can just come up and kill whatever's here. He's certainly taking me on one heck of a journey. Next turn. Something's unfortunate, but for which side? That's the news from the chat. Am I ambushed? Ah, there's their infantry. Well, I got the feeling that my Byzantine lancers might be about to be disrupted. My disaster sense is tingling. It's like spider sense, but 1,000 times more horrible. My good, how many skirmishers does he have? If he'd waited a bit longer, I would probably have walked into an ambush here, but on the other hand, I would probably have detected something as well. Oof. Oh, okay. That was harsh. Yep. Because those nomad archers could easily have lost to... those light javelin could easily have lost light nomad horse archers. That was a bit of a risky charge in hindsight. I don't know if my even on high ground, I'm not sure if my lancers can hold against... Well, there's only 3 units so far, but there's got to be more. There's got to be more in this grotto, and I'm worried that there might be more coming around the flank. He could have up to 7 of these units, so I'm a little bit wary. But remember, both Harvey and I think don't have a great deal of faith in the Avar list, so he's probably playing very defensively. These light archers are a real problem. Okay, let's see. We have to pull back from them. And I'm going to send... Oh, okay. Let's think about this, because if I try and move those light javelin horse over to here, then those nomad horse could charge them, and then they could still move up to shoot down my Byzantine lancers. So I don't know if I can stop that right now. And he's got this force running around the flank. He's got to know I see this. Of course, there's not a lot I can do about it. And of course, we've got the nomad light horse archers coming around the back to start harassing my Byzantine lancers, or they could even fragment my Byzantine massed archers. If anything that's so cheap, because even these cost a lot, these cost him 40 points, it would be worth actually sending some Rosca Tatoi to deal with them, or some irregular foot. They'd be even... Well, no, the Rosca Tatoi are as cheap as it gets. But on the other hand, he'd be able to run circles around them, so it really does need to be a cavalry response. I think I will close in with my Byzantine light archers here, because they will eventually get to this area and cause these nomad light horse archers some grief. Okay. So we're in danger of stalling out a bit, and I don't know what's on this tile, so I can't move there. If those armoured nobles charge, they could drive my light javelin horse off of the map, and here they could get caught. So I can't afford to be too aggressive here. Okay. And a lack of reconnaissance is a real problem. Now that he's moved up here, I don't know what's going to emerge. Okay, I am going to stay aggressive for the moment, because I'd rather be keeping problems than creating situations for Harvey to respond to. I forgot that is a thing. I'll move I'll move these light javelin horse over to here to protect my lancers. I know that means there's a high chance it'll be disrupted. Unfortunately, they can't turn because they're out of position. And the danger with doing anything else with them is that certainly moving them to there would be foolish. They'd get hit quite badly. And now that I move them, because the thing is, the cavalry could decide to charge the light javelin men, which would be dangerous. This wood was just a little bit larger. Why did they move there? They could reveal something and not be able to draw back. Okay, less heart attacks like that, please. So here's the danger: they charge, they fall back, and rather than standing the ground, and then the nomad light horse attack. So they're only average quality, and they are kind of hemmed in, and it's probably not a great idea for these nomad light horse archers to try to engage light javelinmen, if that makes sense, because they would get disrupted, but still a risk. Well, either the light javelinmen get hit in the back, or my Byzantine light archers have to take a strong hit. So I suppose now that I've committed, let's go for the disruption. That's a held farm. Okay. Well, I'll start to bring up the... I know it. Right, can they turn? Okay, I've got an idea. This could save our bacon. But they can't turn. Rats. But they would at least zone of control, unless the cavalry go right through, which I don't think they'll. The cavalry will probably charge, and then these light javelin will withdraw, and the though I hope they don't go that way. And then they shouldn't at 90-degree angle. They should go backwards, and but they might go to this. Okay, it's fine if they would retreat like that, because I don't think the cavalry will be able to hit them from there, facing that angle. And we're covering a square here that my archers are like... No, that was... I'm not thinking. The whole point of it was to try and cover those nomad light horse archers. But I can't do that if they retreat, but hopefully they shouldn't be able to at least attack me from the flank now. And so that's fine. If they do fall back. Maybe I can do something with these skirmishers. Can't, because they can't turn this way. Well, at least I can set up a flank. What am I talking about? I'm not making a lot of sense, am I? Right, these are blocking these. So the charge could happen there, and then these guys will get hit. So the worst that happens is we lose the archers, which is unfortunate. I was a little bit too reckless here. You know, ordered properly, I might even be able to protect my horse. Now think about it. They could then charge and knock you off the field. Just fall back for now. And drop back from the archers until the rest of the army can catch up and support. I have been overly aggressive here. I don't like that feeling, it makes me feel like I'm an idiot. Hopefully I'll get away with just some disruptions and damage to my skirmish line. And we will need to turn something around to deal with this. I picked these Byzantine Lancers. It's not too much of a points mismatch. And right now I don't want to engage with those nomad horse archers. I need to keep my formation together. I don't want to go hunting after them. These heavy infantry are not well suited to the hill battle. I think I'll start to bring my massed archers up to put some pressure on those irregular foot. And where he has irregulars in the forest. Make sure we have some lights of or some troops of our own ready to intervene should the worst come to the worst. I'm planning to stick the Scutatoi up onto the hill so they can fire down onto that marsh if trouble starts. I think I'll actually start to pull in a little bit here so we can focus on the forest battle. And it will also give us nomad horse archers something to think about, as he won't want to approach all of this. Okay, next turn. I'm expecting my skirmisher wing to get punished here. Yeah, I wouldn't ride up like that. What are they going to do? Annoy me to death? Lots of movement. There's obviously lots of nasty stuff hiding in those woods. I'm expecting the main brunt of his army to emerge from there. Probably to try and run around my flanks. Because if he can get around here and then bring lancers out, he can break this entire flank up. And of course we're only just over halfway through his turn so far. Here we go. Skirmisher stew. If he really wanted to, he could have run these Byzantine light archers down. Yeah, he's not going to take any bait here. 2 disruptions. Well, at least I have the better of the actual route so far. And I recently I didn't record the game because it was kind of a learning game, but I recently had a knockdown match with another player on mountainous terrain, and these skirmishers can make your life an utter hell assaulting mountains. So he's obviously, that's exactly what he's doing here. He's entrenching and he's trying to make my progress here as difficult and as dangerous as possible. I do have a response in mind that involves archers. I'm thinking lots and lots of archers. So yep, that's basically the plan. If he's not going to come out and fight, then I am going to keep shooting at him until he's forced to. But I need to think about where I'm going to place my archers exactly. They're just out of range. You can see the ranges, where the range is there. Move them back, bring the archers through. I'm going to lay siege to the hill. I'm mindful I don't have much in the way of turns left. This is taking so long. So the plan is fall back here, break the units on the mountain, destroy the troops in the grotto. Pull back here. It's not as exciting as what's going on in another game, but on the other hand, that game probably shouldn't be as exciting as it is. Get out of the way and let them through, would you? While you're at it, take some units and go over and reinforce that flank. Right, fine. You want to play rough, I'll play rough too. That's not great. I just realised 1, 2, 3. Yeah, place a general there. Try and give him a chance of withstanding that. And try and make sure that the fire's not being taken on their flanks. It's probably not good for morale to have your troops under fire from there. At least I can turn around, and if he moves up too recklessly, I can bombard him with arrows. My focus is on assaulting the mountain. I haven't completely forgotten about the situation. I'm a little bit worried about this irregular foot. They're kind of out on a limb. You know, if I can't slip away from them with them, I'd like to. If all else fails, I move these troops forward to shield from an assault from the hill. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm usually quite fond of sieges. I'm not so fond of tent sieges that that occur during critical tournament battles. Next turn. Back on the boring side of the field. Can see those skirmishers hiding in the swamp. He has to be careful, because otherwise I'll just kill him with arrows. I hear horses. Let them through. Okay. The thing is, he'll just move back and move fresh units into place. I need to move forward and force him back far enough that I can get a foothold on top of the mountain. And this is actually an ideal job for the raw Scotatoi, because they're heavily armoured, they can deal with those skirmishers. And then the rest of the mediums can move up behind them. Let's see. I'll have my skirmishers make camp around the forests. In fact, actually, can they get into that? Can't quite get to this town. Well, they can make camp around the forests then. And we can move into the town. They can just join up with the rest of the heavy cavalry. Danger is I think there's something hiding in this square, and if I turn my back then we're going to be in danger of meeting it. Okay. So I know there's nothing there. And that square is out of charge distance unless there's cavalry or something. So I'll just quietly move my troops out of the way. And tell the truth, oh well, I would actually kind of like to save them from being hit by anything else, but I suppose we can obstruct them from throwing it on the diagonal at least. Right. Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Oh, why, why? Next turn. Yeah, that was predictable. And if I come forward, he'll attack. Although honestly, that would be desirable at this point. I need to get a move on, or it's going to be a draw. And given how the other game is going, I can't afford a draw. I need a decisive victory at this point. Anything less and I'm going to lose. I know he's got things lurking in this marsh, so I need to be very careful how I advance. I only have 4 turns of ammunition with these soldiers. Push up. We need to get right around the back of this mountain without getting intercepted on the way. Secure that ground here and take the town as planned. Now from that position they could end up Hold on a second. You guys turn around. If you go down to the woods today, there'll be a very nasty surprise. I need these units back for the frontage against the hill, and my other units will need to protect against... I suppose I may as well start opening fire on the skirmishers. You guys back up and form a rear line. I want to be up on top of this hill by turn 15 at the latest. Next turn. What's next? I expect those skirmishers at the top of the hill to cause some damage. Alright, but if he's using his arrows up on my skirmishers and he's not using them up on my lancers. I was maybe a little premature moving my skirmishers up again because I should really try and clear the hill out before I start doing that. Smart targeting the mediums. That's alright, I can protect them. And those horse archers are now quite exposed. Or as they look exposed. Once again, I have a feeling there's something nasty lurking in the marsh. More cavalry. Now he's obviously got armoured lancers lurking around somewhere. I can see one unit of them, but where's the rest? Where are the other armoured lancers? Because here's the thing, I have more lancers, but his lancers are stronger than mine, so I need to get local advantages. The only problem with what he's done there is it does expose his troops to my... Interesting, he's put the general on top of that. Probably trying to rally up his javelinmen. I also don't know what's lurking in these woods. Right, turning them that way, because of course if I charged out there I could present my flank. But that would otherwise have been an advantageous thing to do. It also forces me to try and start flanking him via the other side of the mountain, because he's really making the position quite difficult to take here. Because it also means that this flank is covered by the difficult slope. More armoured lancers. More horsemen. Long turn, he's obviously thought a long time about this. Alright, finally have control. A lot depends on what he has in these woods. Right, here's the problem. I can't charge out here because otherwise we'll come into flanking range. And I don't know what's in these woods. This could really put us in quite... On the other hand, maybe I can do this. Because, I mean, I charge with the Scoutatoi. Problem is that then brings them into danger of being at a severe height disadvantage. And these light archers can really inflict a lot of damage on us. I don't know how much ammo they have left, but they've taken a chunk out of my Scoutatoi. I know he's got mediums lurking there. "13 turns left, and he'll take a lot. He'll take a draw in these circumstances, because that then puts me in a very difficult position in the other game where I'm losing. That did absolutely nothing. If I'm not careful, I'll get pushed off the side of the map. One option is to try and win the cavalry battle without knowing what's in these woods. It's not a very palatable option. Okay. Okay. If they advance, they will expose a flank, but I think that's why he's moving up units here, so that he can support that flank. So start to bring these archers over. I need to know what's in that marsh. The problem here is I have no reconnaissance whatsoever, so I'm just guessing at what might be in that marsh. I don't think he's actually going to attack here, because if he does, then he will expose his troops to my massed archers, which would not be a good idea. I hate these light archers with a fierce and burning passion. Right, I'm going to turn here. After all of that thinking, I need to pull back here because of these archers and rely on my armor to protect my Roskatatae. What an infuriating situation this is. It's making any progress at all almost impossible. And that's stalled out my skirmishers as well. Curses! Next turn. As I expected, he's reinforcing the but if he sends him over here, that could actually open him up. Okay. He's steadfastly not using his arrows on those raw scatatoi. Six. Okay, let's count up. 1500, 3000, 4720, 5500. He's still got about 8 units of infantry, or I can't be right. Most of his army's still heading at the moment. On the other hand, he is now thin on the ground enough. So we're ready to push forward yet. See, he's got that locked down. I can't flank him on this line because that unit is protecting this square here, and that unit is protecting that unit's flanks. Unless... I know how I'm going to deal with that. If he's hiding in the forest, I'm going to send around a unit that can deal with fighting in forests. And if he comes forward to confront me, he'll lose the advantage. Perfect. Okay. This is starting to come together, but will I have enough time for the actual assault? If I can pull this off without casualties, without, losing any units to routing, then maybe I can make up for what's going on in the other game. And my offensive doctrine will not be completely invalidated. Next turn. Now I can use these archers frontally to threaten if I can move around the flanks. If he comes out to fight, then I've got a chance to win this. Yep. That's the idea. So we were lucky they even held firm so we don't lose anything from this. Or maybe... Nah, not with a half volley. Okay, that is excellent for us. I've managed to pull him out to fight. Now this is dangerous. I need to keep pace with these nomad horse archers or they can circle right around and go into my rear. So I need to be on the alert. Let's see. They'll cross. I do not want to let these horse archers hit me in the back. So let's stay about equidistant from them. Okay, let's see. Still don't know what's in these forests. Here's the thing, I want to push forward here, but I don't want my re-equipped Scoutatoi to charge the expert armored horse archers. I want to force these expert armored horse archers into a stand-up fight with my lancers. Although now that I look at it, those aren't very good odds. Well, yeah, those aren't very good odds after all. Except here. Alright. Well, it's never my goal to win by brute force with this army. I want to get a flank attack in. So that doesn't bother me too much. These archers are also a problem, because they're still not low in ammo. Because I don't want to let him escape from this position. Right, the raw Scoutatoi will make a good anchor for our line, because they can absorb missile fire pretty effectively due to their armoured status. And the same logic can apply to our re-equipped Scoutatoi. And I suppose if they're protected, the irregular foot can do well enough. Right, that frees up the rest of my Lancer line to do something else. So I am going to move up here to threaten these nomad horse archers. Similar idea here. I hope they can turn. They can't turn like that. That's the only thing. Which means that these lancers could charge. I'll need to use this unit instead, and this unit will have to take a little bit more time to move around, which is unfortunate. Do we have a general for these guys? Yeah, I think I will pass the general over to them because they're in danger. That will be quite a risky situation for them. I could push them away, but I want to actually capture this archer line. So those armoured noble lancers are dangerous to us. Oh yeah, and I can fire with this unit, so I should. I wonder, can this unit... Well, I suppose we may as well get the extra casualties in then, and also my units can potentially run through the gaps here. Or once these units can get up close, and then the armoured horse archers will be forced to evade because they're under threat from melee attack, and they could possibly get hit in the back, especially if they try and veer away from the woods. Okay, let's see. Or I wonder, should I go for the disruption here? No, I need to use the space. I'm going for the engagement here. So I'm trying for a flank attack. I suppose any casualties are good, but it's not really my plan right now. Let's come out into the open. Okay. Move over to here and occupy these woods. And to add insult to injury, I am going to threaten the flanks of his line with my light javelin horse, because these do have a chance of scoring a disruption if they hit the sides. So his line is under quite a bit of pressure now from the flank. Let's see. Now, if he wants to come off the hill, that's fine for me again, because I want to drag him onto a fight in this rough ground. So I think I will I want to conserve my ammo, so I don't really like attacking these skirmishers, but he's not really giving me a lot of choice. I don't have many good targets just now. So let's just, at least it's rolling pressure, it just keeps the pressure on, it keeps him sweating a little bit. Do I want to do that? It does obstruct my archers just a little bit. Because you could potentially charge. No, that would just end up with the skirmishers being stuck against my Byzantine massed archers. Although they could get charged in the rough, that's the only thing. Well, let's see, turn them around. And I suppose that's actually all the more reason to bring my archers forward. I need to try to drag him into rash actions. Let's see. So this has got to be about 40% of his force, including his skirmishers. See, now do I want to charge out and try to tie up so that, let's see, these archers can move to here, where there's a bit of an obstruction in the way. They could also move out to here to try and veer away from forces, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, we should be able to catch them, except I think they'll get slowed down by the enclosures. But I think I can intercept these units, and so I will go for it. Who do these guys belong to? They'll be out of command, that's the only thing. And this is the only unit I can use. See, 1, 2, 3. And if they fall just short though, he could ride away. Could just draw off part of my army to no effect. But on the other hand, I can possibly go after these nomad horse archers. And I'll keep these in reserve in case something emerges from the trees. But I will go after them. And if he does decide to fall back, then we can just drop back into position. But I've got more than enough resources here for the assault on the hill. I can afford to spare some resources to go and harass them, and I have some reserves in case it goes wrong. Okay, much better positioning than the other game. I just hope I have enough time to make use of it next turn. So yes, I have finally set up my attack. Ow. That stationary fire is painful. If he'd shot sideways into my lancers there, he might have got a disruption. You can't do that. The thing is, I can't actually charge with my infantry, otherwise the horse archers will just retreat. Yeah, he's just trying to avoid me here. Did any of his troops ride into this forest? Hmm. Right. Aha. I think he can ride through. I think he can ride and turn like this, so I don't think I can actually get the flank attack that easily. So what I can do is I can try and charge at this angle, and then try and threaten this square here, but he can move up and block that, I think. Can he? Well, I could potentially move light to allow this action, but I can block that. Probably better if I use my archers to do that, honestly. Gonna go for the disrupt here. Alright, that didn't work. Well, in that case, I'll just shoot these units to hell. Okay. They are not going anywhere this turn. So let's see. We charge, they will probably retreat into this clearing. To be right, okay. You guys take a general and start an attack here. Yep, okay. Charge. Excellent. Okay, that does create a situation here because these units are now in danger of a flank attack, but they are also in danger of breaking very quickly, and the only question is, does he have something waiting in the woods? That is a concern. So let's see. But I do specifically want to set up a flank attack here. So I think I will... Right, let's think about this carefully, because if I move this unit out, those lancers are quite dangerous to these irregular foot, so I do need to be careful about my setup here. I think I'll set up here to threaten the line out of the woods. Those armoured noble cavalry are very dangerous for my Byzantine Lancers because they are superior and they are better armoured. My units are just above average. Let's see, so I've got a flank attack here. Can't do anything about this yet, unfortunately. So he can move here, he can block a flank attack here. But the thing is, I don't know what's out here. If I try to push these cavalry back, there is a chance we could end up setting up a flank attack against their own Byzantine Lancers. But on the other hand, the threat from the woods is so severe that I kind of need to do something to alleviate it. Let's see if I can make this work. Yep, I knew it. I knew there was something there. Oh, too far! Blasted over impetuous fools! That causes me a problem. Idiots! Utter morons! They just gave away the advantage that we had. Stupid, stupid thing for them to do. Well, I have to deal with it now. At least if the irregular foot push out, they'll be attacking out of the forest, so they'll be at a disadvantage. But this poses all kinds of problems for me now. I knew there was something lurking in those forests waiting for us, but it could have been cavalry. It could have been hidden cavalry. It could still be hidden cavalry. So I had to do something to act against that possibility. Couldn't just let the threat stand. Now I've got a real problem to solve. We'll get a flank attack here, but that will occupy my troops for a while. And I'm also worried that if these armoured noble, he can then, well, he can't block them in because I managed to pin down his nomad light horse archer. But if he's got anything else hidden at all, then he can bring forward these armoured noble lancers to block in his lancers, and then he can get the flank on either my re-equipped scoutatoi or my Byzantine lancers. So it's really quite a serious situation at the moment. could try and engage here. It would be dangerous. But then I could potentially bring in to threaten the flank here. That would force a reaction from his armoured noble lancers. And I could threaten the flank of these units with these Byzantine lancers. That would put... Sometimes if you can't prevent the threat to your own units, the only thing you can do instead is to create more threats to your opponent's units in order to force a reaction, force a response. So I think I'm going to try and set that up. This will be dangerous. I've used up all my safe options. This is now going to be dangerous. I'm trying to judge whether I can shoot and then turn, because it'll at least soften these armoured noble lancers up a little bit. That I can get both flank attacks, and that would be worth that would be worth exposing my irregular foot. If I could set up, if I could use it to shield both flank attacks and make sure that both go in. Okay. Because I need to do it that way, and I don't want to take any risks, let's see how this works out. I need these guys to not panic. Okay. So there's still a quarter chance that this could go wrong next turn. Move up to threaten here, turn on this diagonal. This unit moves up here. That unfortunately means lancers to the face, but on the other hand, if these lancers fail, they're exposing themselves again. Or do I need to do that? If I want this flank attack to go through, I think I do. Or do... no, wait, think about it. They are right here. But the problem is I need to do something to alleviate the threat to this unit here. Or do it again, because these lancers will probably just bounce off in that situation. It really does depend if these lancers can be pinned in or not. So let's have a look. Thing is, if I don't know what's in these woods, so if he's got light troops hidden here or something, then he can move to here, and then he can pin here, and then he's got a flank attack set. On the other hand, then he's just setting up a flank, but it would still potentially let him get the flank of my expert armored horse arch on my re-equipped scatatoi. If I can't break, he's unlikely to make that decision though. What else can they do if they're left unmolested? I don't think they can move to block that flanking threat. I think they can move to here, but that won't block them in. What it might allow them to do is start to threaten the backs of these units. But then I can move up my re-equipped scatatoi, potentially. The problem with charging here is I'll be... They're on the difficult slopes, they'll be disordered, but they will be attacking downhill against my re-equipped scatatoi. On the other hand, that would also start to draw him out of position and make him exposed to my other units, potentially. So I think that's worth doing, though I'm scared that they'll go too far. Okay, let's move up and start supporting these units on the left a little bit. I'm going to try and draw him thin in this sector. And if he starts to shift over here, then I have units in the reserve who can start to move up and support. Skirmishers continue to obstruct my fire. Honestly, they're going to continue to do that whatever I do, so alright, we'll just keep shooting them down here. But we're not going to overcommit to that, because it's probably not going to be a very efficient attack anyway. I'm going to turn these Skeltatoi in this direction, and they'll fall back and let the irregular. Well, no, I need to think carefully because there's probably something hiding in this marsh still, and I do need to be careful of that. Well, I don't really want to move them close to the marsh if at all possible. I don't want to move any of my units close to that marsh because I don't know what's in there. Another issue, as if I didn't have enough issues, is that if only I could turn on this diagonal. Because what I'd like to do is he could move here to block in. I would like to threaten the flank of these irregular foot, but he can move here to block that. What I'd like to do is move up and start to threaten to zone of control this area here. Because honestly, if I can get units around this forest force here, the side of this forest force's flank here, or tie up any reserves that they might have, then that would be well worth getting tied up at the foot of the mountain here. I'm kind of at a position where I need to know what is in that swamp. I'm going to risk it. I'm pulling his force, and there's nothing here. Okay, so might be something here, but I can deal with that with my reserve forces. There's nothing that's immediately going to spring out and go a bugaboo and scare us here. So that's alright. I can start to move these irregular foot up. And so this is a little bit closer to the mountain now. It's this constant inching forward. I've got to examine every position I have and think, what can he do to me? What can I do to him? I've got him over here to some extent. As long as he doesn't find a way to turn these lancers to face. I've at least got these units, hopefully. As long as these units can stay focused. And he will be risking something by attacking these Roskatatoi because he's attacking out of a forest, and that will alleviate the 50-point POA advantage that he would get from charging them in the flank. Now the danger is that my re-equipped, so obviously he will turn then to threaten the flank, and my re-equipped Skeltatoi will be obliged to charge these expert armored horse archers in order to then push against the expert armored horse archers. But the situation there is that these units here may not then charge the expert armored horse archers because they're fairly defensive minded troops. They may not decide to take this attack, and so my units will be left in a very serious situation. Now hopefully in that situation I can move up the Byzantine lance. I'll just abandon one of these flank attacks and maybe send in the irregular foot to help, and I will just have to send off one of my, it will stop one of my flank attacks from going through because I'll need to send them off to help my Skeltatoi. But we should still be in an advantageous position for getting one flank attack in. What I would really like to do is to instead threaten the flanks of the irregular foot as well, and obviously just push off these expert armored horse archers, because he may see this as a threat and he may decide not to engage here. Because if I can stop this initial attack, then the irregular foot will be at a severe disadvantage to the Roskatatoi. They need these expert armored horse archers to go in order to make up the difference. Either their help needs to come in from elsewhere, and that's not entirely impossible. If he has infantry here, then we're screwed. I'm actually really worried about that now. Do I abandon the flank attack and block in the irregular foot of my lancers? Because that will be annoying. But it might also be necessary. The thing is, 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if they can get an attack in there. I think that's too far for them to ride. Yeah, I think the lancers can only ride out to here diagonally. But it's you can see how it's a massive risk for me to leave those units unblocked because they are facing the flank. If there's anything that can engage them at all, then we're in trouble. And that would be a masterful piece of planning on Harvey's part if he has arranged his troops in that manner. Because he can block all this and these units will actually be at a disadvantage. But it will start to allow me to infiltrate the hill at that point. Although, not very quickly, because he can just move to here and then he'll block in this entire line, and my units are now low on ammo. It's very difficult to attack a mountainous position like this sometimes. Especially when it's supported from both flanks. That's why I attacked here. It was the easier target. And the archers here are placed to block my movement. Okay, I have to engage here, otherwise he could get the flank in my scout. No, he wouldn't do that anyway, because he'd just be opening himself up to an attack. The only thing is, if he could disrupt these units suddenly. He has a few good options, actually. And I'm trying to close down all of them. Move up here, reinforce this gap. I think I will move my re-equipped Scattatoi here, because that will present a flank threat. And if he does start to move to counter that by moving, say, to here to block them in, he's going to start opening up gaps in this line that my archers can start and irregular foot can start to threaten the flank of. The more I can stretch this force out, the better. And if he doesn't do anything, then I can turn this way and I can start to threaten to move around the flanks. So that'll probably just end with them blocking this. It'll go a bit more slowly in that case. I need to do something. Returning to the great matter here. And I need to make a decision. Because I don't know if these lancers have enough movement points. I'm pretty sure they don't. But it's a pretty uncomfortable position to be in. I'm not going to lie, and I don't like having to leave this flank. Having got this flank attack, I don't want to lose it. Oh wait, that's that flank attack, isn't it? So they need to move there. Or at least they would if they want to get the attack in, which means I need to decide what to do with my irregular foot. At least they can hold their ground. It's this unit that really needs help. And of course that's the unit that I need to abandon. I'll let my Scoutatoi take the risk. It's much as that pains me to do. Okay, what about over here, because we're not even done yet. This is an enormous turn. Right, I want to chase these units down. I want to block off any path of retreat they have. Thing is, I could just run off into the forest, which is probably what he's planning to do. I get the feeling this is just one massive distraction. Unless he managed to get something into the forest when I wasn't looking. Because that was many turns ago, and he'll know I've probably forgotten about anything going on in that forest. Well, I'll pursue him nonetheless. Unfortunately, seriously, all of those hours, no disruption. Okay. As for here, that is a slightly worrying line he has on my on these archers here, because he could charge in and hit them in the back. Well, thankfully that's easily enough solved. Let's see, he would charge in. Could he come in from that angle? All right, move here. Just try and block it off. Oh, my javelin will be here to help next turn. But I can't let him go into the back, so those massed archers, because that will hurt. Right, I don't think there's much else to do this turn. Next turn. Finally. And because I almost forgot, if I'm going to leave these units to their fate, then I will have to move my Byzantine Lancers up. Wait. So that pretty much forces me to move these irregular foot into position. But it's the only way to guarantee both flank attacks go through. Next turn. Yep, that's expected. And disrupted, I was afraid of that. So are we going to get attacked from the forest as well? Alright. That I'm not so worried about. Crunch. Oh goodness, there's more. He must have the entirety of his cavalry army in that glade. Yeah, Harvey wins the tournament battle, I think. I'm going to lose too many troops here, because he'll cut off the spearhead of my attack. He's moving these units out, so he's obviously worried about this. Don't think I'll be able to turn and shoot, and that's not really my priority here anyway. Okay, so I've caught them unless they retreat into the forest now. Which they probably will, to be honest. I really shouldn't be doing anything without planning first here. What are our chances? Not too bad, actually. Not too bad at all. See if we can force these lads back. Well, we disrupted them. There's really not anything I can do about this. I can lock them in and stop that flank attack from going through, but that's about it. And even then he can possibly try and lock. That would mean locking his troops into combat with re-equipped Skaltatoi from the front. And also what happens when our line fails here. Hold on a second, let me think about this. I think I'd like to remove these nomad light horse archers from the fight first. Good, get out of there. Okay. I wonder if he's planning to ambush these light javelin horse. Because I could stop the worst of this flank attack if I charge in here, as long as my light javelin horse don't screw up. And that would help, that would at least protect these Byzantine lancers for a turn. I think I'll do that. Okay, so they'll take a hammering and bounce off, but it's not too serious. We can do absolutely nothing for these guys. They are unfortunately for it. And it is nothing good. We'll take our flank attacks. That's always good to get. Crunch. Crunch, but it really depends how long these guys last. They've broken immediately, which is good. But of course, where are we going to run? Oh, congratulations, lads. Right into trouble. Right into trouble. Oh dear. Now this is an opportunity. Because now that I know these guys do okay in prolonged melee, I can move out here. And that means I can start to open up this mountain. And of course I'm still kind of stuffed. Okay. Right. Turn to face for the moment. Because there's only a slight height disadvantage, I can still get an advantage here. But I really want to try to get these expert armored horse archers out of get these units out of trouble, because they're about to get hit in the back by those armored noble lancers, which would obviously be very bad for me. Turn to block that in. I do not want to forget to do that. Hopefully this will get in his way here as well. Well, I've still got these guys waiting in check here, so we can hopefully block up the armored nobles, and in a pinch these javelins can do it too if there's nothing else blocking them. So I do have options. The forest is really helping me here. Try and put a little bit of pressure on those armored noble lancers. Do I just take the risk? Because they probably will fold, and then we will get hit in the back. I think my position is strong enough here that I can afford to delay this turn. Especially since attacking here will be very risky for him, and I can still get the flank in these irregular infantry. If I can protect the flank here, we'll win this fight. So I think my focus needs to be on getting those troops out of trouble. Of course they go nowhere, and these units are now stuffed. So we just end up losing the flank attack, and our troops get hit in the back by lancers. Congratulations, lads, you couldn't have done worse if you tried. Okay, well, we'll continue shelling their light javelin, though of course we're going to have to go much more slowly now. That was unfortunate. I can potentially bring my cavalry up to support the flanks here. I think he was bluffing with this marsh. It's really just kept me in check from fear rather than actually being effective. This is so annoying. If they'd just gone a little bit further, but they've ran straight in here. I should have seen that coming. It was foreseeable that they'd just dash in here. Okay, well, pursuers obviously are about as reliable as they always are. Let's see. Well, if this is just one big distraction action, then I should start to move my cavalry over to support the fight here. I'll leave some forces in reserve, but it's no longer my priority. I can always move back at this point if there's something worse coming. I'm just going to keep these armoured noble archers around to keep the nomad horse archers in check. I don't think we need our veteran Byzantines anymore as to deal with this situation. Although he probably does have some troops lurking around. I don't want to strip this area bare of reinforcements. Next turn. Yep. Crunch. Very unfortunate. Oh, but that was lucky. We should have suffered far worse from that. So that's damaging, but it's not decisive. But we are getting into trouble now on our flanks. He's blocked them in. Oh, he's just gone straight for the charge. I would have thought he'd wait and try and get a flanking opportunity. Well, I can't do that again. I need to hurry up and start winning some of these battles. Thing is, this is starting to draw his army thin on the ground, and remember the Avars already have a problem with numbers. If I start routing units, then they're going to be even thinner on the ground. I think I actually have a flank attack here. I can disrupt those irregular foot on the charge. And we should win here anyway, so this situation is not too bad. I wonder if I move these cavalry out the way, can I do it again? Don't quite have the range. Oh wait, I didn't move the other units out as well. Because I'm trying to see if I can lock down those horse archers again. That's a very expensive way of doing it. Maybe we can get a quick break against these units. No such luck. Okay. I'm trying to get my general over to these re-equipped Scoutatoi because right now they're losing ground. Losing ground slowly, but they are losing ground. Transfer a general over here to help. That's still going to be steep odds. See, what are the dangers? Oh. Uh-oh. Because of the angle they're faced at, he's going to get a flank attack against them next turn. Okay, I need to get a move on. If I give up my flank attack, I could possibly get a unit to block in those lancers and stop them from breaking off. It's not a solution I like, but given that he's using it too, I don't see any harm in it. That could work, but the problem is we're then likely to lose the light javelin horse. And also there's a much greater chance that it'll drop off. Well, it'd be nice to know it's in the clearing anyway. So let's move here. And okay, if I move these units out of the way, can we charge? No, we can't. So these are the only units I can use to try and lock down those expert armored horse archers. We're also losing a lot of these melees because my units are less powerful here. So quite a lot of less than ideal situations here, to be honest. But that, on the other hand, is very good for us. Okay, lesson learned. Do this for... I knew it. I knew there was something in that marsh. Okay. So I'm glad I moved them first rather than just charging my skirmishers into combat. The problem, of course, now being that we have a problem with the... This unit's now in a rather exposed position. And I don't really have many medium options ready to help. And my heavy units won't do well on this rough ground, and they won't do well in the marsh either. So what am I going to do? I can try and move my medium troops out quickly to help, but he's got ways of dealing with that. Let's turn to this situation first again. If I'm going to stop this flank attack, I need to try. Nope, they failed, which means we're going to get flanked here. So the melee here. Okay, what I can do is I can move here. And then I can move these troops to here and threaten this square here. Then if he charges, he's risking his troops getting attacked in the flank. The thing is, what's going to happen here? Okay, we stood for that turn. That's good. So I can't block the flank attack, but I can at least punish it by attacking with the re-equipped Skatatoi next turn. Yeah, okay, we'll lower the cohesion here. Not that it's going to do much. And I'm also set up to do it again next turn. Okay, keep fighting. Not much of a difference made. And now let's have a look at where I've maybe put my foot in this a little bit. He's probably hoping I do this at some point. So what I think I'll... depends what else he's got lurking around here. I'll fight here. Being very lucky with my cohesion tests so far. I'll move these units out to the flank so they can at least start getting flank attacks against those expert armoured horse archers when they hit, assuming of course that they don't just break immediately. At least they might be able to get an attack in and against these armoured horse archers. Wait a second, I've got an idea. Oh, they kept running. I was hoping that they'd go running off into that gap. But they can just think that these light gentlemen exert no zone of control. They can just run. What I should have done was put the cavalry there and force them in. That would have been this. That would have been the solution there. Maybe they'll turn to face next turn, but I have my doubts. Because I think they remain facing in that direction until the end of the next enemy phase. Yeah, okay, and we'll just turn to face. We're not going to get that flank attack, but this should be taken care of pretty soon by my Skatatoi anyway. So we're almost finished clearing this up. So at least I can say that it wasn't that I didn't see this coming. I just couldn't stop it. Okay, so we need to rescue our folks who are struggling in the with the marsh. My cavalry might actually be a decent pick for this mission, because they can get up on the difficult slope and block the flank attack here. These units will be attacking from the marsh. So although we will be in the difficult slope, they can just drop back after being charged. It will be painful for our lancers though, but it's better than the alternative. Thing is, if he sees that coming, he can move here. But then I can maybe... so what I think I should start doing is... Right, move the cavalry here. I need to think carefully about this. The idea is to move my forces around just a little bit. The hill doesn't give us much room to maneuver, but I'm trying to get into a position where if he does move forward troops, I can potentially move to counter him. In hindsight, the veteran lancers would... yeah, move the veteran lancers up because they'll be able to help a little bit. They can at least block some of his units. It's not great use of these expensive units, but I'm starting to break through here. I'll have them freed up pretty soon once this unit can turn against the irregular foot. So I'll move them up. See. Now I don't want my Byzantine massed archers to end up in a fight with the irregular foot. That's important to avoid. So I need to be careful how these guys move. So I think I will actually pull these guys back so that they're going to insist on riding through that way, aren't they? Because of the rough ground, of course. Let's see. The thing is, I don't think this cavalry. I think this cavalry unit has to be positioned here or here in order to ride up onto that slope. They can't do it. Otherwise, they can't move 2 turns to move up onto that difficult slope. It'd be nice if it told us, even though they're out of range, how many points it costs to move up a difficult slope as cavalry, because they have 16 AP, but moving up a hill like that will be expensive for them. Problem is, we're being drawn very thin here as well. Keep bombarding these units at least. Okay, that wasn't very satisfactory in the end, and I was a little bit rambly there. Long story short, I'm trying to get something to protect these irregular foot. What I will do is give them a general, and then these units attacking from the marsh should be a substantial, well, should be at a bit of a disadvantage due to the fact they're moderately disordered. As a last resort, I have the Scoutatoi, who can try to move up and block this unit, but then they'll be at a big disadvantage. But that will start to open up a gap that my other units can begin to exploit. I don't know what's in that marsh, so I'm reluctant to move anything out here to try and support an attack. We're doing okay, but this is worrying, and we'll just have to see how it goes next turn. And we've got this story as well to deal with. Yeah, why? I don't know why I bother trying to pursue these units. They're just going to melt away into the forest again. Maybe I can turn quickly on these units, start to get an advantage here. Yep. Stuff's going on in the rest of the field and I can't see what's happening. Unlucky there. Well, thankfully it doesn't change things too much because as mentioned before, a disruption doesn't really change the facts on the ground for moderately disordered troops. When did they disrupt? Curses! That's not good. And they held out another turn. Very bad turn for me here. Because now I can't rescue my troops, but because these troops are in danger of collapsing. Everything's kind of gone to hell for me. It took a very unlucky sequence of events, but that's the way things are going. We're going to be repelled on this side. And my general's just a step too far away to do anything about it. I'm going to throw in my skirmishers and try and stabilise the situation. Maybe we can win here. Nope. And Harvey's outfoxed me again here. Need to know how this goes first. There are 80% chance of losing. And because they pursued this turn, I can't transfer my general. And that's going to lead them to get flanked next turn. God, what a mess. Okay. We can't win that on our own. Maybe I was wrong about the quality of my troops not being quite so important as flanking after all. Okay. That'll block them in, that's the problem. God. I didn't think things could possibly go this badly wrong. Pretty much everywhere I look, a disaster's unfolding. Okay, it's worth losing them if it stops a flank attack going through against my Roskatatoi. Slam into them, and that lets us get a proper attack in against those re-equipped Scoutatoi. Again, against those expert armored horse archers. Using my re-equipped Scoutatoi. Now, if this unit goes, which it will, I have a plan here. Then I can threaten the flanks next turn. Okay. Once again, we lose the easier fight. We take the easier fight first, and then the one we're almost certain to lose. And we held firm for this turn. So I may have thrown away my nomad horse archers for nothing. But I didn't know that was going to happen, and I needed to protect these units back here. Fight this. And this. Okay. Oh god, not you! The blasted light horse that have been stalking me for the entire battle, and now they've got a chance. Okay, let's see. Because this unit's failing. Now, this is the assault on the. Well, no, we've held out. It's only a 43% chance of losing while that unit is engaged. Let's see. Bring that general over to. Is that my commander-in-chief? Okay, so bring him over to this unit here. Hopefully next turn we can get him onto this unit, and that will help to stabilise the situation further. In the meantime, let's keep whittling down units on this hill. Well, I really need to concentrate on one. He keeps shuffling them about, which is of course very clever, but it does make my life a heck of a lot more difficult. It's the Roman Lancers, it's the ones that don't have archers attached. This is stupid. He lured about 100 points worth of troops away here. Okay, just back off. Well, no. If I want to gain a win here, I kind of need to be aggressive. He's obviously turning them away to just run away, so there's no point in chasing after that unit. He'll just pull back. And I won't be able... Okay, I think, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to position myself here. It means I lose the flank attack against this unit, but it also means that the nomad light horse archers won't be able to interfere. And if they try and charge in here and get a cheeky flank charge, then my veteran lancers can intercept. I need everything to hold together here. In case they look too tough, I could also go after the expert armoured horse archers who are vulnerable now. I hope I've got this right, because they have a very long charge range. Even if it's not an especially powerful charge. I wonder if I can't threaten the flanks of some of these units if they decide to charge, and I can always choose to run this way instead. It's just about locking down his officers, because I've got other units that if he moves to block these lancers, then I can always consider moving up to flank or something like that, or using my Byzantine light archers on the slope here for something. Because if he moves any of these pieces around now, he's starting to open up, finally starting to open up some gaps in his line. Although the skirmishers are going to be problematic. Next turn. Right, okay, let's just, can't really use these light troops for anything, but let's move them around anyway. That really blew everything apart, that unit failing. Next turn. Okay, I am not looking forward to this turn. Oh, okay. Need you guys to hold on for at least one more turn so we can at least get the kill on those regular infantry. Okay, it could be more serious. Right, and that'll let us escape contact. So that was about as well as I could expect that situation to go. Okay, if we're going to have a fight out in the open, that's exactly what I want to happen. Although those lancers are dangerous and I expect he'll move them out next turn. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't already. What's he planning? Well, he knows that unit's going down anyway, so he's not investing any more resources in it. Okay, luckily that wasn't a disruption. Thing is, those scatatoi can't really do much. He's probably trying to move them around so that the scatatoi aren't... Uh-oh. If only that unit hadn't broken... Oh, they're right, they didn't pursue. That was very lucky. They could have gone straight into the back of the scatatoi. Well, I suppose that wouldn't have been too serious given the circumstances. Right. Where did his... Right. This situation's under control. This situation's under control. This situation isn't. Thing is, a charge here would be more devastating. But I don't know if these units can hold out much longer. So these scatatoi can pin in the armoured noble lancers. They're not going anywhere until they can get help around. So we're of course going to break these units now. Unfortunately, it will take my lancers time to turn around from the situation. We're losing quite a few fights now, actually. Those armoured nobles are just so powerful, they're starting to get the upper hand, even with my general present. Okay, lots of scary stuff happening on the battlefield here. And I do kind of need to plough through to here because eventually those nomad horse archers are going to get free and they can get around the flanks of these. Oh, they're going to lose anyway. Okay, what to do. Please be a fragmentation. Right. Let's see, that gives me some options. Ah, hello. Turns out my lights are good for something after all. At least I hope. Oh. I don't know if they can run that. Can they run through that gap? Can the enemy run through that gap? Because if that would be disastrous. That would lure them away from the field. Problem is I don't know what will happen once this unit breaks. Pursuit is such a finicky thing, but I think they can run through any gap they can run through there. When you're the situation's stressful when you're considering the pursuit path of your units. But I need these troops to be available to go into the backs of these armoured noble lancers. And the best way to do that is to ensure that they route through this area here, but I can't get my cavalry to that spot. It could still work if I do it this way. No, it didn't break on impact. So it was a moot point anyway. Okay. Well, I suppose if we can't do it that way, we can at least get a presence into this forest or around this forest, and try and prevent any more reinforcements from arriving from the mountain. If I can get into a melee here, then that will help. I have a plan, but it's insane. It would involve giving my general to the Scaltato by trying to get them to stand for another turn against the odds. And then getting the flank attack on them with the archers. Because he can't get there in time to stop that from happening. On top of that, I can move the cavalry around to threaten the irregular foot. It's going to take some mountaineering, but I can do it. So what am I going to do with this unit here? Well, in case things go south, I kind of need this cavalry units around here. Because they're my reserve, they're going to break up all of this. And they might also be able to protect against anything that goes wrong with this unit here. So I do need reinforcements for that sector of the battlefield. These units are facing away, so they can no longer protect here. Oh, the problem... Right, okay, let's see. That basically means throwing away that unit of archers. But it would allow me to definitely block up off that square, because he wouldn't be able to angle his troops properly, and that could allow me to get the flank. But the problem is, once I move my troops onto here, they're committed. I won't be able to do anything else to help them. And I don't think one flank attack from... because it won't even make a difference to the fight here, because the troops here are already moderately disordered. The disruption from the flank attack won't make a difference unless I can pull it off twice and he can move units back to deal with that. Can I borrow the general here? Good. I think I'll commit to a fight here. Now I know I'm going to lose that over time, but the cavalry again can get around the flanks here, potentially. Wait. I'm not sure if that leaves us any further forward, to be honest. But I saw that that unit was sitting on their flank and they decided to go for it. To be honest, if we could kill off the light javelin here, that would help a lot. Because these Lightfoot have been doing a lot to protect the mountain. And also he can't charge here safely without drawing his troops into a vulnerable position. Maybe it is worth putting the general here and trying to hold out for another turn. It's dangerous as heck. We could lose our commander-in-chief if this goes wrong. They're in command, right? This is lunacy. This is utter lunacy. Don't like doing this. Only 53%? I can't commit to that, surely. Can I? I'm trying to work out what combination of units to use here on the mountain. Okay, no, I can't do it. I just can't. I won't be able to make that a favourable exchange. I'm just gonna. I've thrown away my commander-in-chief, but it's not going to work. Let's try and get rid of those light javelins. And just keep the rest of these units on notice. Let's see. I have a plan here that could put him in a difficult position. Only if you guys aren't the worst chargers ever. The idea was that they pursue out and then I might be able to set up a charge here. It could still work because I've got a flank attack set up that these cavalry can't ignore, so if I charge out they'll retreat and I might be able to get a flank attack on them. Just out of range of the general. Okay. This is developing, but I don't think it's developing well enough for me to win the get through to the finals, because I've just lost too decisively in my other game. This unit's disrupted though. Wonder if it's worth. No, they'll probably end up getting trapped by the irregular foot here, and that would be disastrous. Next turn. Nah, I couldn't save them. At least I didn't panic my lancers as well. Brilliant. That's useful. Good, they've held together. Looks like I still don't quite understand how zone of controls work in this game. Those lancers going to hang on as well. He's sensibly pulling them out of the way. At least that means they can't interfere in the battle anymore. Ah, smart. Well, at least that will distract the light horse, and it means that they can't interfere with my veteran Byzantine lancers. Nah, I'm never getting through to the finals now. Well, that lets me turn around here, and that does mean I have the option of attacking here if I wanted to. Because we're winning this fight. Question is what's going to happen here. This is kind of the key moment, so we'll rout them. Yes! That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Fortunately, I held on. That's too bad. But, nope, even with all of that, even after all of that, they just held on for a little bit longer. So that's fine. We've still got this under control. Oh well, easy come, easy go. That's them trapped in. At least for now. So these guys are now going to break. And they've decided to go straight for the Byzantine Lancers. Honestly, that's fine. So I can relax now. I know I'm not going to get through to the finals. Let's just focus on winning the battle and doing the best we can. I think I've given a reasonable showing of myself anyway, so it's not a situation I feel too bad about. Question is, of course, these guys could fall back suddenly and that would ruin everything. And give them a shot. Uh-oh. And that's what happens when you make decisions early in the morning. This can happen. I need to do something about these guys. Okay, move in and lock these. Well, let's see. Consider all of my options, not just the obvious ones. Thing is, if I move my raw Scatatoi, they can just jump over to here. Now I can use my Scatatoi here to help, but they might not be able to cover everything. But this would be a fairly good use for them. I think I will have to commit these archers here, just to keep his troops busy long enough for me to occupy the attention of the of these irregular foot, because if they can trap me in, that would be disastrous. He could then go for this unit of re-equipped Scatatoi, so I need to stop that. I don't have any choice. I don't have any other units that are appropriate. And just for good measure, in case he managed to slip away, I need to move up here as well. This is where, remember, I've still not remembered everything there is to know about the movement system in this game, so a lot of it's shooting in the dark. I needed to make sure that if they just move sideways out of the zone of control, then they can't move here and then launch a charge. I needed to ensure that happened, but I also needed something to cover my Byzantine masked archers. Of course, he can still attack with this unit, and that's why I have to engage here. And of course, I still need to cover my flanks. These guys now need to turn. And now I am, at least for the moment, in a position of relative safety, which will hopefully give me the resources I need to win the battle here and end this before it gets any bloodier, because it's starting to turn nasty over here. Okay, if he's occupied there, what I can do is start to move into the marsh, and I'm looking to start having a go at these irregular foot. He can move to here, but he can't charge the archer, so he can still move free off the marsh. It's going to take us a little bit of time though, but also it'll distract these irregular foot because he knows he needs to protect these irregular foot in the marsh. So it's all being decided now, and I won't move into melee because it's not really to my advantage right now. These Scotatoi will remain on guard, and I'll start to move to lock down these armoured noble lancers. So what that does allow me to do is allows me to turn all fire on these nomad lights. And as I said, I'm really going to start going after them hard. And my other archers can move up to confront the nomad horse archers. They are heavier units, so they should be fine. But hopefully, I mean, they will break free, but I will be able to shoot at them all the way across here. And once I get to this mess here, hopefully it'll all be cleaned up anyway, and I'll have one over here. But I am on the clock now. Alright, next turn. Well, that poses a problem for these guys. Sorry, I'm going to have to try and get over to look at this because the camera's not responding. Uh-oh. This is going to be a bad turn for us, isn't it? Unless this spreads panic. Nope. Because that's two of our key units disrupted now. And he's doing that to get ready to block my cavalry from flanking. They don't have much left. Right. I'm not really sure what I was hoping to accomplish there. I guess I was trying to... I was aiming for this unit here. I should have attacked first. I didn't think before I launched that attack through. Now I'm in trouble again. Luckily that unit held. These guys are occupied in this losing fight which I threw them into. Well, those lancers haven't gone anywhere yet. Probably resolve this before I moved into a flanking position. We were lucky we held on. Although I won't be able... Oh, he's just going to flank in. No, this was a series of stupid decisions. I could have had good flanking opportunities set up here. And we're gonna lose all of this. Oh god, Andy's got more troops coming through here. I could still lose this at this rate. Very, very poorly thought out turn by me there. Next turn. Right, no, we're not done yet. Let's focus. Could have got firing against them there. Right. Shake it off next turn. Oh, and recover these guys because they're not achieving anything by standing there anyway. He's used his generals very effectively here. Oh, I'm not going to have much more time, am I? Those javelin are heroes. They're going to auto break. I shouldn't have sent them in. But at the time it looked like they were just going to get shot to pieces anyway. And they're all going to go. This is going to be a draw. I don't think I'm going to win this. Oh, that's what he did. That stings. I was really hoping for a break there because then my Roskatato I could have potentially got the flank attack in. Well played, Harvey. Now this hell assault's really screwed me up. I should have focused all of my resources on one side of the battlefield, but I didn't know it was out here, so I was very conservative. I ended up spreading myself all over the field. These Roman Lancers can't move up to lockdown because one, they can't move fast enough, and two, these archers are here to lock them in. And they still hold out. Unbelievable. Right. I suspect these units won't give immediately, which is why I'm doing this. It's to get them down to fragmented. And then we're going to plow through. I'm being a bit more careful with my decision making this time. Can we? This all depends on whether we hold or not. I'll give them a general. This is critical. Misclick. Okay, we held. And now we can move through. And threaten them with a real flank attack. Let's see. They are winning now. But Harvey fought me tooth and nail in this sector of the battlefield. And it's not over yet. We've lost this unit. They're going to get flank attacked next turn. And they might disrupt as well. So this is nowhere near the decisive victory I needed it to be. And I've got a problem because if I want to charge in here and decide this thing, then I'm exposing this unit to being attacked. And at this point I need to win everywhere. I need to win all these conflicts, and I still don't think I'm going to win. Let's see if I can do anything about this situation. Because I need to get to 60% now. He'll just engage there by trying to attack on the mountain. I think I'm sunk. There's one gambit that I have left. Oh heck, there's 3 turns left. Let's go all in. Because now we can't use these light archers to lock down the Scoutatoi. And it might just give me enough time to get to the 60% and get the win, but that's my only option at this point. Yeah, he's not going to be able to block this flank attack in the marsh. Maybe I can do this. Maybe. Assuming I don't end up being so reckless that I end up losing the battle anyway. Turn and block them here. Harvey just got so much right. Cycling these units out to nullify the use of my archers. Using skirmishers in combination with light units to hold the mountain. Hovering a small force just out of sight, just enough to create enough hesitance in my head that I didn't know what was going to come next. He just managed to sow enough doubt in my head and cause me enough problems in the areas where I was launching my main assaults that I couldn't make the situation work. So I think I have to take this assault now, because I need to try and race for that victory. But we'll see how it goes. It's not over yet. Not even a freak victory for him is impossible at this stage. If he can break enough of my army, because I have lost a lot now. Next turn. So Harvey says that he doesn't actually like to defend, so he may be discovering that this is something he's very good at. Here we go. So that's the consequences of going all in like this. You have to take disadvantageous melees. Luckily our Byzantine archers held firm. The Scoutatoi in a difficult position there, and I can't move in to help them because these Roman lancers will support. The only hope I have now is the battle against the irregular foot, and these Byzantine massed archers are hardly ideal for it. Yep. Well, we knew that was coming. And an instant fragmentation that I could not afford at this point. And my troops... Oh, my troops held out, that's fine. I'm not angry with you. Not that I would, I'm done giving in to frustration. I was very lucky to survive that. But no, Harvey's an experienced player. He won't be. He definitely won't be new to conducting a defensive game like this. That's not as bad as I thought it would be, honestly. Right. Yes, that's exactly what we needed, an instant break. Maybe I can at least win here. Perfect. The random number gods are on my side. Oh, an instant break there would have been too much to hope for. is less good. That's such a waste of my Byzantine Lancers finishing off this weakened unit. And we're at 59%. I don't think we're going to make it. 1% off, but he held me to the last. And what can I break in 2 turns? I threw everything into trying to get that last gambit working. And it wasn't enough for victory. If these were Byzantine Lancers, I could go from the auto break from missile fire. But they're Roman Lancers. And this unit isn't going to fall in time, not unless an amazing streak of luck happens. Maybe by some miracle we catch these guys. No, they're off. Nope. Harvey's done it. He's held on until nightfall. Next turn. And there's a small chance that I can knock something off the field. If they go down as well. I could still lose this. You guys aren't going to give me a... Okay, they fell back. I was wondering why their animation stopped. Using routers very effectively gets men out of trouble. I think this is the last turn where I have control of the battlefield. Then again, it says turn 46, so I'm not sure. I might get one more flank attack in. Different command. One of those rare situations where you don't want the attack. You don't want your units to win because you don't want them to break off. I might get final flank attack there and win the day with one charge. How would you like to die today? If I could have auto-broken that unit, that would have been helpful. Move them into position just... Well, no, let's see. I need to know how this goes first. Due to the height advantage, these light archers are actually fighting better than the medium foot. Okay, so it's probably worth turning here to try and get the attack. Maybe we can fracture them suddenly. It's a very small chance, but it's a chance. Now here's my actual chance to win the battle. We did it! Okay. I'm not in the finals, but I did at least manage to win a victory today, as long as there aren't any rallies. At least I didn't lose the battle or, fail to win it. That's something. That means a lot. Our souls can rest in peace now. Come back here. If there's one more turn, maybe I can knock these nomad light horse, the nomad horse off the field as well, and get the flank attack here. Oh well, this should end the battle next turn anyway. But there might be a rally, so there might be a rally. Well, we'll see what happens. Next turn, fingers crossed. Yeah, so I appreciate what Harvey says at the end here, where he says he was playing for a win here and not for a draw, because that could well have happened. I did think that, I thought it was going to be a difficult fight for him to win outright just because of the nature of the Avar army, but it was definitely a possibility. Imagine if I hadn't ended it here, there's a few more turns, this unit gives out, I maybe can't reform. Well, I think it would have been difficult at this point for him to win, but I do appreciate that he was going for a win. It wasn't just an attempt to draw out the fight. Although that would have been a reasonable option given the rules of the tournament. And it would have been reasonable for me to try that in the other game as well. But he was obviously hoping to ambush my army in such a way that he could have flanked me and wrapped me up, and that was definitely a possibility at times. I had to inch this is why it was almost a draw. I had to inch my way into this grotto because of all the ambush infantry. You imagine if that Roskatata unit had been flanked successfully, or if some of my units, more vulnerable cavalry, had broken before they did, this could very easily have gone in Harvey's favour, and it would have been me struggling just to draw things out to the end turn. If I'd been a little bit too aggressive with my hill attack, which didn't go very well even when I was being as cautious as I could and supporting it as much as possible. I made a post on the forum recently about the difference between passive and active defense, and this was a masterful example of active defense by Harvey here. He really used every part of the battlefield and all of the units available to him, his skirmishers, his medium foot, which were rubbish out in the open, which I threw away out here on the battlefield. He used them effectively in the terrain that they were suited to fight in. He had a little bit of open ground here. He couldn't. I just had too much force concentration for him to win over here, but he still made me pay for it. I mean, those are Byzantine bodies lying all over the ground as well as Avar ones. And he used his troops hidden here to just plant just enough delta in my mind that I held back until it was almost too late. And here it possibly was too late. I don't know if the game would have ended here, or whether I would have got this flank attack. Again, the troops moving into the marsh. I couldn't see what was going on here clearly, so I didn't know how dangerous this force in the marsh was. If I'd been better at keeping track of his soldiers, I might have had an easier idea of what was in here, and that could have informed my strategy. But my attack in the marsh ended up working, and I did manage to pick my way forward. It wasn't enough to keep me in the tournament, but it was enough to win the game. But it took some luck at times. I was very lucky towards the end when all of these units broke suddenly. But that was a tough game. So anyway, thanks once again to Harvey for the game. I wish them the very best of luck in the Slytherin in the final of the Slytherin themed event tournament, and I will see you all. I hope to play against them another time. This has been Napoleon Complex. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Farewell.